He loved her quietly. Not the kind of love that demanded to be seen, but the kind that stayed in the shadows, constant, gentle, and real. He loved her in silence. Through stolen glances, through quiet prayers, through the spaces between her laughter. Her name was Emma. His was Daniel. They met in the university library one rainy afternoon. She was sitting on the floor between two shelves, surrounded by open books, her hair tied up messily, tapping her pen against her notebook. Daniel had seen her before, in the cafeteria, in class, but that day, something about her caught him completely. Maybe it was the way she talked to herself while studying, or how she smiled at her own confusion. He dropped the book accidentally. She looked up, startled, then smiled. "You scared me," she laughed softly. "Research papers can't be that exciting." He blushed, picked it up, and managed a quiet, "Sorry." That was the beginning. Over the next few weeks, their paths crossed often, in the library, the coffee shop, the campus garden. Each time she'd wave first. And each time, his heart raced a little faster. One afternoon she walked over. "You're Daniel, right? You're in Dr. Lewis's class with me." He nodded, surprised she remembered. "I am." "Perfect," she said, setting her coffee down. "You're good at that stuff. Mind helping me with this paper?" "I'm drowning in statistics," he agreed before she even finished her sentence. That's how their friendship began, with shared notes, study sessions, and long evenings spent laughing at things only the two of them found funny. She was light. He was quiet. Together, they balanced. As months passed, he learned everything about her. Her favorite color, forest green. Her comfort food, pancakes with too much syrup. Her dream, to write stories that would make people feel. And when she talked about love, she spoke of passion and adventure, the kind of love that swept you off your feet. He smiled, listening, knowing his love would never look that way. Because his love was quieter, deeper, like the stillness before dawn. One night, as they studied late, she fell asleep on his shoulder. The campus lights flickered outside. He didn't move, didn't breathe too loudly. He just looked at her, the peace on her face, the slight curl of her lips, and whispered in his heart, "If I can keep you safe, that's enough." He never told her how he felt. Maybe he was afraid, or maybe he just wanted her to be happy, even if it wasn't with him. Then came graduation. Emma got accepted into a creative program across the country. Daniel received a local job offer. The night before she left, they sat on the campus rooftop, watching the city lights. "I'm going to miss this place," she said softly. "And you?" He smiled faintly. "You'll do great things, Emma." She looked at him, searching his face for something unspoken. But he said nothing. And when she hugged him goodbye, she whispered, "Don't forget me, okay?" He wanted to say, "I couldn't, even if I tried." But all he managed was a quiet, "Never." Years passed. Emma's life bloomed. She traveled, published short stories, met new people. On social media, she always looked happy, radiant. Daniel followed from afar, liking her posts, smiling at her success, holding on to the distance like a shield. He dated a few times, but no one felt like her. He poured his time into work, volunteering, music, anything to fill the silence she left behind. Yet every night he still checked her page, still smiled at her happiness, still whispered a quiet prayer, keep her safe. Then one day she vanished online. No updates, no stories, no laughter. Weeks passed, then months. And one cold morning, Daniel got a call, an old college friend, shaken, hesitant. "Daniel." Emma was in an accident. His heart dropped. He didn't even ask how bad, he just packed and drove. Hours later, he reached the hospital. When he entered her room, she looked fragile, bandaged, pale, eyes distant. But when she saw him, tears welled up. "Daniel," she whispered, her voice trembling. "I didn't know who else to call." He smiled, forcing his voice to steady. "You called the right person." The days that followed were long and heavy. She couldn't walk at first. He stayed, helping her sit up, eat, smile again. Sometimes she'd wake up crying. "I don't even recognize myself anymore," she'd say. And Daniel would hold her hand and whisper, "You're still you. And you're still incredible." He read her favorite stories out loud. He brought her books, flowers, little jokes on sticky notes. The nurses started calling him the quiet one who never leaves. Weeks turned into months, and slowly she healed. One evening, as they watched the sunset from her hospital window, she turned to him. "Why are you still here, Daniel?" He looked at her, smiled softly, and said, "Because I never left." She didn't reply, just looked at him with tears in her eyes. For the first time, she saw the love that had always been there, quiet, patient, unshakable. When she was discharged, she asked him to visit often. He did, every weekend. They talked for hours about life, love, regrets, and second chances. She told him about her broken engagement, the man who left after her accident. She said, "I thought love meant excitement. But maybe it just means being seen." He said nothing. Just held her gaze, steady and warm. Months later, she regained her strength. She started writing again, stories about healing, about kindness, about quiet love. In everyone, Daniel could feel traces of them. One afternoon, she called and said, "Meet me at the cafe near campus, you'll see." He arrived to find her sitting by the window, healthy, glowing, holding 2 cups of coffee. She smiled as he sat. "I've been writing a new story," she said, "about a girl who never noticed the boy who never left." He smiled faintly. "Does it have a happy ending?" She nodded. "It does now." She handed him an envelope. He opened it. Inside was a handwritten note. "I finally understand your silence, and I don't want to live without it." He looked up, eyes glistening, as she reached across the table, taking his hand. "Daniel," she said softly, "you were never just a friend. You were home." Years later, they sat together on that same rooftop where it all began, this time watching their little daughter chase fireflies. Emma leaned against him and whispered, "Thank you for not giving up on me." He smiled. "You were worth every quiet moment. Love doesn't always arrive with thunder. Sometimes it whispers, waiting, patient, unshaken by time or distance." He loved her quietly, until the day she needed him most. And on that day, his silence became the loudest kind of love there is.